Hey everybody, Tupy here, coming to you to show you my great state of Texas. This area right here, I'm going to be touching it up with my trusty painter's pens. This is what I use. So let's get after it. I'll tell you the history as I'm going. These are the things that make Texas great. These are the things that I put on there that I wanted to highlight. And so I'm halfway through this. I took this, my pen. I've got my trusty whoopsie rag handy. That's basically just a rag that has paint thinner on it. So if I have a thing I need to clean up, I can. And I'm just drawing is all I'm doing here. I'm making this a little bit bolder than I did last time. And what I'm definitely doing here is I'm working down. I'm not starting, I try not to crisscross my, Sunday, are you being a ham? This is my sidekick Sunday. This is our cockatoo. And he is entertaining. I'll probably have him on me for a little bit and then he's gonna, you're covering up over the areas. You know that, don't you? All right, there's our barbed wire. Gotta have barbed wire in Texas. Makes me think of that movie, The Giant, that had Elizabeth Taylor in it. That was a good movie, Mr. Dean. All right, so I start here so my hand doesn't work in it. And I am going to use about all of these colors here. Each of them have different tips that have different sizes. This is the big dude, the big daddy, and he helped me with the border. But I'm going to pretty much go with fine. Most of it is the very fine. It's called ultra fine. If I can find my ultra fine now, I might not need it. So I'm going to use this pen here. Let's see if I can find my ultra fine here in here. I have lots of these things. And there's my ultra fine. For the little tiny details, like the Eiffel Tower. Did you know there's an Eiffel Tower in Texas? There is, and it's in Paris, Texas. And it looks literally like the Eiffel Tower. Now, I'm having a hard time getting paint out of it. So I'm just going to mash this out, extract some paint. When you push down, you'll hear that ball. That's a good sign. That means it's like a spray can. I'm giving it a little extra dab so I can get a little paint out without me dabbing too much paint on here. And I'm just retracing what I did about 6 years ago and making it look a little nicer. The sun fades it after a while. And on top of the flag, top of the Empire State, Paris Eiffel Tower. You think I would know that? Is a red cowboy boot. In Texas, of course, you got to have a red cowboy boot. So we're going to make a red cowboy boot here. I'm going to let that dry because it takes about 2 or 3 minutes to let it dry. And then I can go over it again. These things dry really fast. These paint pens dry really fast. And so I'm just doing a video on basically touching up on my camper. I had a plain Jane camper that I wanted to make it stand out. The one thing about this camper, I don't think anybody's going to steal it because Sunday. Because it's so gaudy with color that it'd be like an eyesore trying to steal a camper with all this color on it. So there's my Eiffel Tower. T for the tower. All right, so that's that. Let that dry a little bit. I'm going to come over here. Shawnee Trail is one of the trails that they had for the cattle, as well as the Chisholm Trail. They still run the Chisholm Trail through Fort Worth. They still do that today. In Fort Worth, you have the stockyards down where they run longhorn cattle. If you ever go to Texas, come to Fort Worth. And I think it's at 10 and 4 or something like that. They actually release a herd of longhorn cattle to roam downtown Fort Worth, and that's kind of cool to see if you've never seen it. There's so much cool things in Fort Worth. I love. Okay, the movie Dallas. When I moved here to Texas back in '83, Dallas was on. You know, J.R. Ewing and all that. Well, I came here and I was so disappointed. I thought Dallas was going to be like Fort Worth, and it wasn't. And when I found out Fort Worth was more like Dallas, I was like, why didn't they name the show Fort Worth, not Dallas? But, all right, so these are my cattle going down the cattle drive, and they need a little touch up, so I'm going to just touch them up here. All right, so a little bit of history. We got Big Tex. Big Tex started off in the downtown Dallas area where it's called Fair Parks, and it was actually a Santa Claus. The original one was a Santa Claus, and he was up there for like I think 2 years, and then they made him into a cowboy, and he's been a cowboy. He had a few facelifts. He's had a few facelifts. He also had his face go on fire a few years ago, caught on fire, and so he had a facelift. That was pretty. So I'm just going to give him a cowboy hat, brown cowboy hat. He's a brown cowboy. And I'm making sure I don't put my hand in my paint that I have, because I don't want it to. There we go. Get him. He needs a different face. His face is kind of ugly. Let's get him some ears. If you ever come here, he has he always howdy folks, and it's a real guy actually talking inside of the well, when his voice moves, there's a guy that's out there somewhere, and he actually does the talking for Big Tex. All right, Big Tex needs, let's go ahead and touch him up a little bit with the Lone Star shirt. He usually has new boots every year. They give him a new pair of boots. And if you notice, I'm outside the lines, okay? That is no big deal. Like I said, I want you guys not to be afraid of these paints, even on a camper, okay? You want to just feel free to go at it, have fun. And like I said, if you can always just fix it up. Going outside the lines is not that big of a deal. All right, let's see if I can do the star here without destroying too much of it. So I'm gonna have to fix it a little bit with the white, and that's no biggie. Give him a blue collar here. Give him some blue jeans. Got to have blue jeans. I love blue jeans. All right, I love cowboy with Wranglers wearing blue jeans too. All right, we're getting there. And I'm gonna go back over here with that cowboy hat up for the Eiffel Tower. Let's give him a little detail here. Just give it a little bit of dimension here. Make it look more like a cowboy hat. And let's go ahead and touch these boots up. You know what I notice? Every time I do this and I tweak it, I notice something. If they're cowboy boots, you got to have a heel to cowboy boots, don't you? So let's give him a heel, because he needs a heel for these. Probably could put some spurs on him too, but he doesn't wear spurs. Like I said, this is a museum here in Fair Parks. That's why I put it here. That Fair Parks has been around a long time. If you haven't been to the State Fair of Texas, I would highly recommend going to it at least once in your life. Go on a Wednesday. It's only $3 and 3 cans of food to support food drive. That's the cheapest you can find. You'll find for going to the fair, so it's not very much, about $10 to go. All right, got a flag here. It's Memorial Day weekend on Monday. Happy Veterans Day to you guys that are serving my country. Thank you for that. I appreciate my freedom, as well as I know most people do. Let's go ahead and do the flag here. And there at the state park, there is a huge Ferris wheel at the state park that goes, you can see it for miles. It's up year round. I'm just going to tweak this a little bit. Just give it a little bit more color. It's faded. All right. And let's go ahead and make it look like some. All right. And it needs a little green for the grass. Little grass here. Actually, it's not on grass, but I'm going to make it look like grass. I'm going to give it a little bit more dimensions to these boots. Give them a little more color. Probably ought to up and down, up and down. All right. Okay, I got Mean Green for North Texas up in Denton. I got SMU down in it's Dallas. I've got Baylor, and I got A&M, and I got Texas University, the Longhorns, and some of the other fun things. Let's go ahead and work out the Mean Green. It's the Screaming Eagles. This is, I don't recommend doing this, what I'm doing here, but I know this pen doesn't have a lot of paint in it, so I'm not worrying about it. I'm not really worrying about it going everywhere. I think that one is, it's history. Alrighty, if you hear me breathing funny, that's because when you do these, you kind of have to have a steady hand, and if I hold my breath, I can do this better. So, and I'm gonna let this dry here in a minute, and I'll come back and put some stripes in that look like the feathers. Alright, mean. Alright, let's go ahead and just do the green. I actually need a finer pen, but let's see if we can do it this way. I'll come back and, alright, there's mean. And you notice how I'm going over that black? I'll fill it back in. Alright, mean green. A little bit more color here. Alright. I want to come back to Big Tex. I want to go ahead and give him a little bit more dimension to his belt. Make him look a little bit cleaner. Pearl snaps, baby. Pearl snaps. Alright. Alright, that boo-boo, I'm just going to go right over that red, and you're not even going to see where I made a mistake. Ta-da! Alright. That's good enough right now. SMU. Alright, let me go ahead and just do the SMU, which is a SMU, which is Mustangs. It's hard to do a little Mustang like this guy here, but with his mane here, but he'll get done. He's red. And another thing of history in this Texas area is where I'm from. Abbott, Texas is the home of Willie Nelson. He was raised by his parents, by his grandma, born in Fort Worth, raised by his grandparents, his sister, and I'm saying at the Methodist church. I go to the Baptist church there, but they were, Wake Cow is there. There were Wake Cows that were put in Waco, and I put Betsy on Willie Nelson's. He bought the building that was there, and we put a Wake Cow on top of his building. It got quite a few laughs. Did y'all know that Willie Nelson's name is Huey? It's not Willie. And I have a friend of mine that went to school with him, Mr. John Paul Anders, and he said, yeah, that his name was Willie, and he is such a good songwriter. He wrote, if y'all know anything about country music, you'll know that he wrote Crazy by Patsy Cline. He actually wrote that song. And all right, I got a zoo here. I got cockatoos. I got pigs. All right, I got all kinds of animals here. All right, you feeling that? And that's how I know it's not. Go ahead and give them a little bit more dimension. Claws, screaming. Alright, let's give it a little bit more dimension, a little cooler. Mean Green Fighting Machine. Mean Joe Green also went here. He's a big football star. Mean. When you're doing these, like I said, you can do detail when you take a paint and then just go over it, kind of clean it up a little bit. SMUS. Give it a little bit more color. Make it more blockish. Is that a word, blockish? Alright. I didn't go to any college, so I'm not a huge fan of any of the universities. Not that I am against them. I just, it's a pride thing, I guess, for people to be really proud. It's not a proud thing. Just they love their school, and but I don't have that. I don't have that feeling because I never went to college. I didn't have a need. All right, big Texas. Everything in Texas is big. And I'm gonna probably stop here because I'm probably getting videos. If y'all are snoring, I'm putting you to sleep. That's therapy. All right. Like I said, if you notice, I'm working down on everything. I'm not working across anything. And this right here, if you're a football fan, you know that this is for the Dallas Cowboys. I was a fan until Jerry Jones took it over. The man that Tom Landry was one of my heroes. And then we got the Texas Rangers. And I'm going to do the Texas Ranger like it's in a baseball, just to, Alright, and then I'll write Rangers there. Got along pretty fast. Like I said, dries real fast. This stuff will stay on here for about 3 years till if they're in the sun. And so, because this is my camper, it's easy for me to touch it up because this is all my idea. Alright. And you know what? I'm going to stop at that. Next time I do this video, I'll be doing the Texas West Explosion in Czech, along with the Dublin. We got the TCU Frogs. We got the cattle, the chuck wagon race, the Rusk Railroad, and we'll touch up this Brazos area too, as well as Goliad and Bluebell ice cream. All right. Hope y'all enjoy the video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more of these. Okay. Thanks for tuning in.